It is Friday, the 1st of July, 1955, and the Chicago White Sox are visiting the Cleveland Indians. This episode is a new approach to telling the history of America's favourite game. Just as radio stations would recreate baseball games from ticker tape messages, we can research this classic game and present it to you as if you were listening to the radio in 1955. Information was sourced from several sites and records, including retrosheet.org and sportsreference.com. This broadcast should not be considered a complete or fully accurate historical record. Nevertheless, this is our story of the game.
So we can look forward to a lovely still Lake Erie over the holiday weekend. Sally, thanks for the weather there. And as always, good evening, America. Ewan Spence here for Classic Baseball Radio. Yes, on the shores of one of our Great Lakes, and here for a great matchup as well in the American League. Yes, the Yankees are streaming away with it as the All-Star break grows ever closer. But Chicago, the White Sox, and Cleveland, the Indians, are close behind in second and third place. So it is a really, really important double-header here going into the break, with the White Sox 1.5 ahead of the Indians, who's going to take second place over the summer and be the challenge for the Bronx Bombers. Well, there's a good chance that the holiday games here at the Municipal Stadium are going to answer that. Okay, well, just looking down, we've got our umpires and our pitchers and our catchers and everybody warming up and loosening off around the outfield. So let's just have a look at some of who are going to be watching batting tonight. We'll do the White Sox line up here, and I'll take you down the home lineup for the Indians when we get in between the innings. So for the White Sox, leadoff center fielder Jim Busby. Second in the order will be second baseman Nellie Fox, and third will be left fielder Minnie Minoso. Middle of the order, fourth will be third baseman George Kell. Fifth will be right fielder Jim Rivera, and sixth will be their catcher Les Moss. Closing out the bottom three, first baseman Walt Dropo, shortstop Chico Carrascal, and our pitcher Billy Hearse. Defensive lineup for the Indians: Gene Woodling, Larry Doby, and Al Smith are your left, center, right across the top. George Strickland is going to be your shortstop. Your 3-2-1, Ted Rogers in the middle, Al Rosen, Bobby Avila, Joe Altobelli. That's Altobelli at first, Avila at second, and Rosen at third. Catcher is Jim Hegan, and your pitcher for today is going to be looking for the early win. And yes, he's heard that pun so many times before in so many careers. Early win is your pitcher coming into the game on a 10-2 record. Keeping an eye on the proceedings today, Joe Paparella is going to be your home plate umpire, supported by Jim Mahonachik up at first, Frank Umar covering second, and Eddie Rummel covering third base. As I said, teams are coming in relatively close, not just in the American League, but also in their head-to-head as well. Currently the White Sox have that very slightly. It's a 5-4 head-to-head record for these teams, and that's been played over 4 series, well, the opening day, and 3 series. I'll have a chance to look back at those shortly, but for now we will get ready. Be underway here as we're just getting the signal that it's just 2 more pitches for Gus Wynn to pitch down to Jim Hegan as catcher, and Paparella is giving us the wave to bring up the microphones to get everything underway here at Municipal Park. We've got the Yankees playing early today. We'll bring you that score shortly. We'll keep you up to date with all the scores going around both the leagues this evening. But for now, we're ready to get underway here. It's the Chicago White Sox taking on the Cleveland Indians, and we're going to open up with one fastball going high into the zone, so it's straight ahead. Busby is going to get in the count. Busby, Fox, and Minoso are going to be your 1-2-3 here in the top of the first. Wynn and Hegan, old hands at this. 1-0 goes. Called strike one. Count goes equal low. 1-1. Busby, a new addition to the White Sox lineup. There's a fair amount of roster changes that have happened in June, as we get one fouled off, and the Wynn gets himself ahead in the count, 1-2. Busby with the Washington Senators through till early June, and then bringing down the contact bat down here to be the lead-off for the White Sox. So 1-2. Strike three as Busby swings right through that, and it is a 1-up, 1-down, and Nellie Fox steps in now as well. 5 times All-Star, 335 for the season, and fouls off the first, 0-1. Fox is very much known for being strong defense to go along with that bat as well. 5 home runs and 30 RBI for the season as 0-1 goes back into the glove there of Hegan. So it's going to be a 1-1 equal low count. Wynn just throwing there fast too as always, but his presence over the plate. No matter what the batters think, Wynn likes to remind them that in this house the plate belongs to him, as that one goes hefty inside there, but is going to be, yep, ball 2. Fox just working in, try and claim the play on his own. There is a fair amount of posturing going on here as that one goes in hefty to the inside as well. Slides down, 3-1 this time. Wynn and Fox, no strangers to each other and no friends either, certainly in the game. 3-1. Lined out to centre base, hit there for Nellie Fox, and that's going to be speedy up to first, but that's got the distance as it goes past Strickland and rolls into the gap between Strickland at short and Woodling out at left. So Fox gets on base, and the White Sox have their first base runner of the evening. Minnie Minoso steps in now. 6 times All-Star, just to be 1 up more on his teammate. Another one who is going to be doing his best to claim the plate here. Gentleman's already thrown a lot inside to mark out his territory, as Minosa fouls that one up and over the backstop. 0-1. One away so far for the White Sox here in the top of the first. No runs on the board as yet, but it is early days for both teams, as we get strike 2 called on Minoso there. So it's 0-2, Wynn getting himself ahead in the count. And 2. He's going to be ball 1 as that one slides down, tempting as it is from Minoso. That would have been a high loft up and over if it had turned up. 1-2. Minoso steps back out now. Hagen just having a little look at the umpire there, wondering how late that step out was. Mind games going on. Here's Minoso, steps back in. Wynn is looking to fast wing this one down, and yes, he does. Count goes equal high though, as that one slides out and away. Both of those staying low in the zone. Runner at first. Fox taking a fair lead out there, 10 feet or so. Wynn though focused on making the play his own, as that one goes out to the letters wide for 3-2. So count is full, 1 away, 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the top of the first. Minosa at bat, payoff pitch. Line drive down straight into the glove of Al Smith out there in right field for the second out. Smith positioning himself nicely there. And Municipal is a deep and long field, 322 out down the alley, but Smith comfortably there to catch the line drive, and that's 2 away. Minoso stays at first base as we welcome in now George Kell. Kell, 14 years in the big leagues. Fouls off his first pitch from Wynn. Good contact here. Should bring his teammate Nelly Fox up to second base and into scoring position. Kell also 35 RBI for the year. White Sox are used to playing with the park with the big dimensions at Kaminsky. Lets that one go past for a cold strike two. That one stays just up high enough at the bottom of the zone. It's called there by Joe Paparella, our home plate umpire. 0-2. Foul there as Cal stays alive, pushing that one up and over the dugout down first base line. So we're going to stay at 0-2. In goes Sad. Strike three, and with that side is retired on a fastball straight down Route 1. Hill, I think, trying to get underneath that to foul it away, but no drop on that one. Just all heat as we have no runs for the White Sox kicking off there. We did have a hit, Nelly Fox getting the single out to left field, and is left on base. No errors charged to the Indians outfield, so the defense holds steady there, and we give the Indians a chance to bat now as well. The Great American Game. Turnabout, so we go through 27 outs each. Okay, opening up for the Cleveland Indians is going to be Gene Woodling, left fielder. Second will be second baseman Bobby Avila, and third will be a right fielder Al Smith. Middle of the order, third baseman Al Rosen is going to be fourth, center fielder Larry Doby is going to be fifth, and George Strickland, shortstop, is going to be sixth. Closing out that, batting seventh, catcher Jim Hagan, batting eighth, first baseman Joe Altobelli, and in the ninth spot is going to be Early Wynn, our pitcher here, and closing out the order. Defense-wise for the White Sox, across the top, Winnie Minoso, Jim Busby, and Jim Rivera are your left, center, right. Shortstop will be Chico Carrasquel, and you have your Ted Rogers 3-2-1 across the middle of George Kell, Nelly Fox, and Walt Dropo. Dropo at first, Fox at second, Kell at third. You've got the veteran Les Moss, who's going to be doing the catching, and you've got Billy the Kid in the mound as well. Billy Pearson, a 5-4 record, which is, well, White Sox pitcher has the same record as the head-to-head here. It's White Sox 5, Indians 4 in the head-to-head, but in today it's still 0-0 across the board, and you will never take that 0-0 score away from me from the football here to the baseball. Okay, Pierce steps in now. Going to bring in the heat over the many years, starting to get a little bit more position now, and throws that one in hard to the top of the zone, so it's going to be called strike one on Gene Woodling. 0-1. They had Pierce still favouring the fastball, but has brought in a couple of differences in the pitching over the last year or so. A little bit more precision coming in and letting him pick out the corners a little bit more, as we see that goes a fastball high and just outside, so count goes equal low. 1-1. That fastball has got a little bit more accurate, a little bit more placed, and this year we've seen him bring a little bit more of his slider into play as well, throwing that one there deep into the count. 1-1 now, and that's going to be called ball. 2-1. The Cobra at first base umpire, Chuck saying no swing there, so count goes 2-1. Bottom of the first here, White Sox. Nothing in the top of the first. As we see ball 3, curves down away from the middle of the zone. 3-1. Woodley, another June transfer coming over to the Indians from Baltimore. 3-1, goes for the walk, and Woodley, opening batter, becomes opening base runner and draws a walk out of Billy Pierce. Bobby Avila comes in now as well, 3 times All-Star, consistently getting on base and pushing the teammates around. 275 for the average for the year, as he opens up getting a ball, and that's just going high and to the outside. Pierce pitching left-handed, and count goes equal. 1-1. Woodley out there on first base. No outs as yet for the Indians, as we see a ball 2. Curveball, 2 out of the last 3. And it would be great if we could just elevate the pitch slightly so it dives to the bottom of the box as it is. No temptation to swing on those. And that's going to be called strike 2, so we're going to go equal high. Woodling at first. Vila second in the batting order. 2-2. And that's hit there. Carrasquillo picks it up a shortstop. Underhand. There's one. That Fox turns. Throws the drop home first. It's going to be in time. Double play taken there. Bobby Avila hits that one. Bounces twice in the infield and into the glove of Chico Carrasquillo. This is a classic underhand flip up to Nelly Fox. Through on the bag there. So here's a 6-4. And the 3 in the snap turn down to first base as well. Carrasquillo, Fox and Dropo doing that combination that the Indians have been working on and bringing it up. The double play. I'd love to see the stats and just how many double plays they've pushed through this season. Al Smith coming in now, third in the order. 44 RBI, but bases have been cleared. As we see strike 1 called. It's drifting to the inside of the zone there. Here's sliding that one in early. Ready to swing the bat again, and that's line grounder. I picked up George Kell at third. Over the wall, Dropo at first base, and there's your third out. So it's a 3 up, 3 down there for Billy Pierce and the Chicago White Sox. Zeros across the board, no runs, no hits, and none left on base for the Indians. No errors charged to the White Sox. So it's 0-0 score. Yeah, keep sending the letters in, folks, as we go through the first inning. Call the police, because Callum's Crackers will steal your hunger. With poppy seeds, sesame seeds, and fortified with 6 different vitamins, you can't get through a day without reaching for a little luxury in your lunchbox. Callum's Crackers, the criminal crackers that steal your hunger. Back in stock at Finer Fare, 57 Main Street. Into the second here at Municipal, and we're going to get Jim Rivera, Lesmos, and Walt Dropo for the White Sox. 1 hit on the board, but nothing else after that for the visitors here. The weather just gives us a light breeze, so it's a little bit cool, not having a huge impact on the balls here on the shores of one of our Great Lakes at the holiday weekend. Jim Rivera steps in now and watches that one just sailing past him there from Wynn. Early Wynn still pitching. Jim Hagan still catching. No changes on the board for the Indians. And we see ball 2 drifting to the outside and low. Remember, swing action is not as smooth as the managers And the coaches would like that one. There's the occasional stutter in there, but it's going to stay in the shoulder this time for ball 3. Goes at the letters, but wide. 3-0. And he's going to take the walk on that one as well. Jim Rivera, opening batter, opening base runner. Was there in a 3-0. As most steps in for the White Sox. Remember I was talking earlier about the number of June transfers. Here's another one as well, this time coming over from the Orioles. 385, but he's only coming off 15 played appearances, so we do need the numbers to equal out, but he's been a good run producer over the years, so White Sox will be looking to bring that in as well as we get a called strike one. To open up here. Runner at first here in the top of the second, but no scores and no outs as yet. Foul that one there as we go 0-2. Whilst I said just 15 plate appearances, so the rest of the numbers you'd expect. Nothing on the home run chart, just the one RBI so far. Runner out at first. Ball shows bunt. Does the bunt, and Altobelli runs in for first, picks it up, turns around. Avila's covering the bag there, and that is Moss run out at first base. It takes, though, Jim Rivera up to second base and into scoring position on the sac bunt. Or 3 fun and games for those of you keeping track at home. So 1 away for the White Sox, but a first runner into scoring position for the game as we welcome in Walt Dropo. 6'5" for the Moose, 220 pounds. And for a lineup that's built around getting contact, getting the ball into play, being speedy around the base, well, at some point you need to bring in the heavy. His name is Walt Dropo. Dropo watches that one go past from Pierce, and it's going to be a 1-0. Chico Carrascal is sitting on deck as well. So an older, more experienced part of the lineup now. Winning Hegan. Pierce is still warming up. Pierce is keeping his arm warm. 2-0 on the count. Waiting for ready for another. And low for ball 3. 3-0. White Sox get all the cards on their side. Runner at second. They're taking a little bit of a lead. And that's going to be hit high up into the left field. Woodling just taking a few steps. It's going to fall into his glove rather than over the fence there. So that's a 2 away with a fly ball out to left field. Rivera is going to stay over the second bag. So 2 away. Runner at second as we have Chico Carrascal, number 8, in the batting order for the White Sox. Swing and a miss. Strike 1 underway there as a wind just brings in. Bit of a wicked curve on that one, actually. Just dives right away and underneath that swing. 0-1. Fouled off there. And that heads over the third base dugout. 1-2. No glance back from Wynn, and just a check throw up to second base there to keep Rivera honest, which he is, drawing him back to the bag. And the 0-2 comes down. That's going to be hit high over centre field. Larry Doby waving, he's got it, jogs underneath that, picks it up on the jog and side retired on a fly ball out to centre field. He'll be getting that in the glove and just carries on the jog to the dugout. No runs, no hits, and 1 left on base for the White Sox. No errors Charge to the Indians defence. And the score remains 0-0 on both sides. Doby and Strickland will be up for the Indians. We did have some day games played, and the important one for both of these teams is probably Washington up in the Bronx. Senators putting 2 on the board. Yankees putting up 7, which takes them to 51-24 at the top of the American. 5.5 back for the White Sox, 7 back for the Indians. Well, it's now 6.5 and 8, so one of them is going to get closer at the end of tonight. Also, we had the first of the 2 games between Detroit and Kansas City. That goes the home team's way, Detroit 2, Kansas City 3. And we'll keep an eye on the second doubleheader game of that and the rest of the night games as we go forward. Other game we pick up there, St. Louis Cardinals 7, Chicago Cubs 11. High scoring fun and games there. And at the moment, no scores though, so it's going to be the complete opposite as third baseman Al Rosen, who's normally a tough out to get, tends to draw the walks a little bit more. 234 for this year so far. Stepping in, Billy Pierce still pitching, Les Moss still going to be catching. Bottom of the second opens up, and that's going to be a ground out picked up. Chico Carrascal, shortstop, over to Dropo at first base, and that is going to be in time. Wilson just slowing up, and long before he got there, Dropo already had that locked away. So 1 up, 1 down. Larry Doby steps in now, Strickland in the on-deck circle. Doby batting left-handed, and so we'll be looking to get onto base and get the first score for either team here as he watches ball 1 go past. Aparicio indicating that one is low. Just leaning back with the catcher's glove and just querying that one quietly. 1-0 as we see ball 2. Touch outside. Not drawing the swing from Doby, but it's staying squarely on the shoulders. 2-0. Fouls that one down the right hand line. Distance on that one as well, actually 2-1. No flurry in the crowd to try and get that one. And see who got it from here. 2-1. Foul up again, this one there, but it stays on the grass, but out the way of doing anything that would have the White Sox defense wondering what to do next. 2-2, count is equal high. Larry Doby receiving from Billy Pierce. Ball 3, and we've got a 3-2-1 here on the mound. 3 balls, 2 strikes, so 1 out. Larry Doby, 310 for the season. 8 All-Star appearances. Payoff pitch comes in now, and that's lofted high. Vinny Minosa's going to be on the run, dives for that one. Minosa takes that one off the ground, and it gets into the glove. Signaled a fair catch there. The ground doesn't get that, and the glove gets it first. Fly ball out of left field there, and also keeping the White Sox defense solid so far through 5 outs. George Strickland in now. Jim Hegan waiting on deck. It's our shortstop now. And gets called first strike, not on 1. Defensive anchor out. Shortstop, but really more for the defense in the office. 228 so far, not really lining up the numbers this season. As that's lofted up high there. Jim Bisbee's going to be underneath that one, I think. Doesn't have to do the run, and Minosa does. He's positioned himself well for the third out, so that's another 3 up, 3 down for the Indians. And through that inning, it's zeros across the board again. No runs, no hits, none left on base for the Indians. No errors charged to the White Sox defense. And through two. Game is tied. Nobody's off the board, bottom of the board just yet. It's still 0-0. Call the police because Callum's Crackers will steal your hunger. With poppy seeds, sesame seeds and fortified with 6 different vitamins, you can't get through a day without reaching for a little luxury in your lunchbox. Callum's Crackers, the criminal crackers that steal your hunger. Back in stock at Finer Fare on 57 Main Street here in Cleveland. So it's going to be our first pitcher to start off the third inning here. Billy Pierce, ninth in the lineup for the White Sox. Then back up to pick up Jim Busby and Nellie Fox. Early win, still pitching. And opens up there with a ball that goes to the inside on Pierce. Win will quite happily trade that ball and remind the opposing pitcher who this home really belongs to. Oh, fast inside again as well. Not letting up. Just trying to push Pierce away from the plate. 2-0. Cold strike one. 2-1. Pierce waiting by the time of swing. 2-1. Fouls that one there. So count goes equal high. We will get pitcher in the next inning as well, the other way around. But right now, Wynn is delivering. Pierce is receiving, and it's a 2-2. Watches that one go past high to the outside there for a full count. Opening batter here, the top of the third. No runs scored here between the White Sox visiting the Indians. Full count. Grounds out to Bobby Gill at second. Takes that one over to Altobelli at first, comfortably there. And that there is the first out. And it's the pitcher that loses. And so on our first pitcher, it's going to go early Owens' way as Billy Pierce is a run out there on the ground for the White Sox. Back to the top of the order for our visitors. It's Jim Busby, struck out in the first and carries on there with a cold first strike. Not on one, just drifting a little bit into the inside there. Busby batting right-handed. Not on one. Lets that one go past. Count goes equal low. 1-1. Lead-off batter here, but in the first. Not quite leading off here in the third, but one away, no runners on for the White Sox. As we see ball two. And there's Wynn just sitting there, working the curve and slide, keeps everything low in and around the bottom of the box. Trying to tempt the swing there, that one though, as it curves down and away. So we'll go for a 3-1. Box 335 for the season. Busby facing a 3-1. Line drive there, goes out for a base hit to left field past Strickland and towards Whitling. Kind of like just dies quietly in the grass as well. Whitling having to take a few more paces to get that up, but already looking at second base and Busby going, you know what, I'll just quite happily hold up here at first and take the hit. Nellie Fox comes in. Single in the first, now as teammate at first. One away, one on. No runs on the board as yet for the White Sox or the Indians here. As Fox fouls that one. Up and over the backstop. Not and one. And we now going to see ball one going through there as well. 1-1. Count is equal low. Fox is in the All-Star game for the 5th time, taking place this year, July 12th, over in Milwaukee. So the summer break will have a little bit of ball in there for Fox as he watches that one go past, and it's going to go 2-1 into his favour. Fox on a 3-1 count got that single in the first inning. Fouls that one there, going to the left. So we're equal high. When there, just a little bit of a slide, a little bit of a curve, just sort of that lot of space where you can call it whichever one you like. 2-2, foul up, and nope, it's Scotty Higgins underneath it. And Higgins got to take that one into the catcher's glove there for the second out there. So pop-up, stays foul, but clear of the fence. So it's 2 away. And Busby is on base out at first, but hasn't been able to get the advance there. Miniman also steps in now. 2 away, a runner at first. Line drive out to right field in the first inning. As he gets ball one, going hefty to the inside there as well. When just marking out his space for these power hitters. And also bouncing around. Line on his feet with the energy. So 1-0. Goes down, line drive out to the left field. Strickland is watching that one go past as well, and it just bounces and skitters along the ground. That bit of the grass is just absolutely dead out there. Single from an also up to first. Pushes Busby up to second, but no further. Ball just dying in the middle means that it's not far for Strickland to throw when he gets his hands on it, if Busby decided to go a little bit further. So runners at first and second, but also at first. Yeah, second hit of the inning. George Kell comes in now, 35 RBIs. Struck out in the first inning, but now teammates at first and second with 2 outs. Let's that slider go away from him for a 1-0. 14 years in the game, 8 All-Star appearances. Won't be showing up this year in Milwaukee, so it's a little bit of an extended break. 1-0, and that's going to the outside. A lot of drop on it, so it's a 2-0. 2-0, runners at first and second. Wynn glances at them, comes set, and that's going to hit fly out deep into the right field. Al Smith is on the run back, looking, jumping in the glove. Caught deep in the right field. Threatening the bounce over the fence if it hit the ground, but Al Smith getting that before any chance of that going out of the park, even on the bounce. So that's your 3 outs there, 2 hits in the inning there for the White Sox, but no runs coming off of that. Those 2 hits leading to 2 left on base. No errors charged to the Indians' defense. Will Smith there getting the fly ball right on sort of raised berm out there next to the fence. So through 3, nothing on the board for the White Sox. Cleveland through 2, nothing on the board. So it's their chance to see if they can come up with anything yet. So we look back at those games that we've had previously in the series. As I said, these teams met themselves on opening day, and now in Cleveland's way when they welcomed the White Sox 1 to Chicago, 5 to Cleveland. Following that though, the Chicago White Sox took the next 2 series, one at mid-April, one in late May, with 2-1 heat in terms of the games in both of those. I mean, again there at the end of May, and that was just a twin game, and that series was split. So in total it's 5 to the White Sox and 4 to the Indians. 1 split, 2 for Chicago and 1 for Cleveland. When we look at the series scores, it's looking over now, and Billy Pearce is going to be staying in to pitch for the White Sox, and it's going to be the 7, 8, 9 of Jim Hagan, Joe Altobelli and Early Wynn for the Indians. Hagan opens up with ball 1. Here's third, just throwing the fast ball in, but it's going to the inside from the southpaw. 1-0. Fouled up and over. Count is equal low. Hagan, as the catcher, modest batting averages. It's 177 so far from 5 All-Star appearances. Probably lets you know just how good that glove is there. 1-1. Swing high and hard. That's going out to left field. It's not got the distance, but Minosa's out of position. He's going to have to backpedal hard. Hagan turns first, going for second, and he's going to slide down there. And the throw from Minosa down to Fox is not going to be in time. That's a slide in for a double from Jim Hagan, taking the extra base there. Fly ball lofted high. No gap between Minosa and Busby in left centre field. Minosa having to get in to cover that one hard and fast. At the time that hang time got the ball off the ground and into the glove, Hagan had already turned to slide into second. Joe Altobelli with a teammate in scoring position is in now. Altobelli now steps in, fouls that. No, it's another back pedal. Moss goes for that one, and it's going to be the first out. Another catcher caught in the foul territory as well. You've only got 60 feet. It's a really, really tight backstop here, but one away. Hagan shakes his head just a little bit out there at second. And we're back now to pitcher going the other way. Early Wynn is going to be receiving, and Billy Pearce is going to be delivering. No scores on the board. Bottom of the third, 1 away for the Indians, with a runner up in scoring position. And ball 1. Wynn just lets that one drift to the outside. 1-0. Wynn hitting 233. Pitcher is getting that off 46 plate appearances this year, so been producing in. So we get that going 2-0. He's been able to get good contact. All the games that he's played in so far. Watches that one, ball 3. Effectively having 9 offensive players in there, although countered slightly. Hagan and Altobelli even more for their defensive prowess. So 3-0. Grounder goes up to second. Nelly Fox picks that one up over the wall, drop first there, and that is going to be the second now, but not before Hagan advances another 90 feet, and a little wave to the crowd as he gets himself over to third base, 90 feet away from the first run. Wynn getting the teammate over. It's 2 away though, so there is not a lot of room for Gene Woodling to play with here. But do get number 1 in the batting order here. Can make the difference. So 2 away, runner at third here in the bottom of the third. Still to score, both teams. Woodling watches that one to go past. Is called the ball. 1-0. Marion sees the second ball and lets it pass into Moss's glove. And that's going to be called strike one. That one does just find the bottom of the zone as it dives down. 2-1. And that's ball three. 3-1. Whittling gets it into his favour. Discipline has paid off here, so get the option for a swing on this one. Runner at third. Egan looking to make the 90 feet and get the first run on the board for either team. And that's fouled. And goes 3-2. So all the lights are on. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner at third. The pressure goes on Billy the Kid in the middle now. 3-2 full count. Payoff pitch coming down. Goes over to the shortstop. Picked up George Kell. Across the diamond. Walt Drogo first base. And third out is found there. So 270 feet for Hagen, but it doesn't amount to anything at the end of that. So no runs. Joins that 1 hit and 1 left on base. No errors charged to the White Sox defense, and through 3, no scores on the board for anybody here at Municipal Park as the sun starts to set on the holiday weekend. There's still a lot of baseball to go and to play. Call the police, because Callum's Crackers will steal your hunger. With poppy seeds, sesame seeds, and fortified with 6 different vitamins, you can't get through a day without reaching for a little luxury in your lunchbox. Callum's Crackers, the criminal crackers that steal your hunger. Back in stock at Finer Fare, 57 Main Street. We now pause for station identification. You're listening to Classic Baseball Radio, and you can support our recreations with a small pledge at ko-fi.com/Classic Baseball Radio. And don't forget to like, love, share, and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you follow your podcasts. Into the 4th inning, and the visitors are going to have Jim Rivera, Lesmos, and Walt Dropo stepping up. Early Wynn is still going to be pitching, and he's just managed to set the tone nicely through the first innings. White Sox not really feeling comfortable at the plate, and it's the second time through the order. Jim Rivera is going to start us off, and it's called strike one on Rivera as that one just dances around top and inside of the zone. Rivera batting left-handed, so stepping in, and a sacrifice bunt, pushing him up into scoring position, but no further. 1-1. Oh, that one there. It's down first base line, so falls behind. 1-2. And ball 2 comes in there as well. Count goes equal high, 2-2. Wynn and Hegan not really disagreeing on any of their pitches. Hegan's calling them and is getting on with the job. 2-2. Foul up there, but it's going to go high. Al Rosensgaard going to go at this one, and a third baseman's going to take that one. Somebody is going to get himself July 4th present there. That just hands to one of the younger fans there. A little souvenir for someone. Foul ball there for Jim Rivera, heading that over, and Al Rosen picking it up in foul territory. Steps off the base to get that one down the left-hand line. One away, and we welcome Les Moss up in now 385 for a few games that he's played this season. Came over from Baltimore at the start of June to Chicago. Fouls the first one off, up and over, not on one. lot of foul balls when doing his best to get that into field for his defense to do the work, and they are delivering for him so far. Not one. That's fly up again. Rosen again. Rosen gets that one in fair territory this time, but doesn't matter where he catches it, fair or foul, if they're going straight in the glove. They'll take the out. 2 up, 2 down. Rosen just waving over the win and asking for the ball once more. Tropo in now. Luke Carrascal on deck. Tropo is all one. Power hitter here, and White Sox, well, small ball and the hits and the walks haven't amounted to much so far. Tropo's got power to reach the back of Municipal Park. They'd probably quite like to see it. Ball 2, just slightly to the inside. Tropo batting right-handed, so it's a 2-0. Waiting the power is there. It's just going to have to dodge around these and not offer anything. 2-0. And that's going to be popped up into the centre of the diamond. Bobby Avila's decided he's going to take it, sends that one, and yeah, that's that. 3 up, 3 down. Glenn managing to get pops all the way around. On pop in a foul, pop in a fair, pop into the middle of the diamond. So zeros on your charts, everybody. No runs, no hits, no errors. None left on base. And through 4 innings, White Sox yet to post on the board. Mind you, Indians haven't posted anything either, so pitchers and the defense are holding this game together. Bobby Avila, Al Smith and Al Wilson for the Indians. We're going to see if they can break that one apart as well. Okay, middle of the 4th. Let's see if we got some of the scores from the night games. We do, most of these are going to be through 3 innings. Okay, so we'll start off that second game of the double-header. That's actually the 4th inning. They've managed to keep everything tight in terms of pace there. So it's Detroit Tigers 2, Kansas City Athletics 0. I know I still get letters, send them in. 2-0. You can take the Scotsman out of Scotland, but sometimes you can't take the Scotsman out of sport. Giants at Phillies, New York on 1 and Philadelphia on 2. Visitors taking the lead there. And at Milwaukee and Cincinnati, it's 1 for the visiting Milwaukeeans and 3 for the home Cincinnatians. 1-3. What else we got? Pittsburgh 1, Brooklyn 2, and Boston 0, Baltimore 2. Okay, for the Indians, Bobby Avila coming in first, ground out in the first. And it's Pierce still pitching and Moss still catching. And that's going to be strike 1, not on 1. Avila keeping a constant game going on here. 275, staying just above league average. His 3rd All-Star appearance this year. Fouls that one away, not in 2. 5 runs here as he leads off the bottom of the 4th for the Indians with a 0-2. Called strike 3. And 1 up, 1 down. Here's smiling to himself and enjoying that one there. Going to get through these early. Top of the order batters. Al Smith is in now. First All-Star appearance this year. Coming in 320 and making good contact throughout the year so far has led the All-Star nominations. So we see ball one. Pierce pushes that a fastball to the inside. 1-0. Goes 2-0. So that one heads to the ankles. Not actually into the ankles, but close enough to have Al Smith thinking about getting out of the way. Testosterone says, nope, I'm going to stay here in that one. 2-0. Fouled up and just down the first baseline a little bit. 2-1 into the crowd. Being fouled off by both pitchers here, so a fair number of people are going to go away from the park with the ball. Called strike two. Count goes equal high. Smith was a ground out in the first inning. Fouls the 2-2 away, so let's do it all over again. Here's ready to go with the 2-2, actually shakes one off. Showing putting the slider for the out pitch, so bluff and guile comes in. 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike three, and he did go for the slider, and that just pushed itself well out of the way. 2 up, 2 down. First 2 strikeouts for Pierce. Rosen comes in now. He bat for the Indians, all told. The 53's MVP for the league. Just looking to try and settle in this season. 234. Still a tough out to get. Quickly draws the walks. Fouls that one away. She's out for that slider and just it's a brief bit of contact enough to take us to 0-1. Call strike two. Rose toughs that one out. No runners on as yet here in the bottom of the fourth. No runs for either team either, so it's a 0-2. As that goes deep out of centre field, Busby's going to have to run back and get that one. It's going for the fence, but it's a long fence here at Municipal. It's not going to be in time. It's not going to reach it. Busby takes that one there as he dives out and slides himself into the berm, and then just pushes him back up to standing there. It is the third out. When I said dive into the berm, and the berm goes uphill, and he kind of brings him back up to standing. 3 up, 3 down now. Doesn't matter how you catch them fair. That's what you want out there in the outfield. It's another 0 setting, 0 runs, 0 hits, 0 errors, 0 left on base. White Sox 0, Indians 0, nil. I'm fine with a bit of pattern with it. It's just if you give me a scorecard straight away without looking, I'm going to go back to Stenhouse-Muir 0. Hamilton Academical. You have no idea what teams I'm talking about, do you? We'll be back for the top of the fifth. Carskell, Pierce and Busby are going to be your batters. Call the police because Callum's Crackers will steal your hunger. With poppy seeds, sesame seeds and fortified with 6 different vitamins, you can't get through a day without reaching for a little luxury in your lunchbox. Callum's Crackers, the criminal crackers that steal your hunger. Back in stock in Finer Fair, 57 Main Street. Top of the fifth. Still no score from either teams. And our pitchers getting themselves very much into a slugging match between the two of them. Early Gus Wynn is going to carry on in the mound and hurling to catcher Jim Hegan. No changes for the Indians defense. Chico Carrascal has the legs and has the speed if he can get on base. That's going to be the trick, isn't it? Ball one. Can't see Carrasquel though. Work that count hard. If we're going to go into a pitcher slugging match, every extra pitch you can make them is going to help in the long run. And that's ball two. Carrasquel lets those ones go through. 2-0. Fouls that one there. A little bit of a wobble on that. Wynn does have a knuckleball in his arsenal, just to do a little bit of off speed. Second time through the order back to the bottom. I wonder if he's just, rather than working the speed just on a single at bat. 2-1. Fouled as well. He's just playing all the fastballs first way through, then a couple of the off speeds for some of these less experienced. I say less experienced. I mean, you know, you're at the end of the order. You're not expected to do the really big swings. 2-2. Fouled away. Carrasquel working the count a little bit higher, so we're going to stay 2-2. Working the count as expected. And lets the ball go through for 3-2. Scout. And a player who's going to be in the All-Star lineup 2 weeks' time. 3-2. Payoff. Liner in, base hit goes down past Strickland in the left field. And Woodling is going to take that one as well. Already aware that the ball kind of bounces and dies off the grass at that part of the field, so already running in with a little bit more pace than normal, but we're going to get a single over to Carrasquel. Finds that gap once more. Strickland and Woodling just not sure how to cover that bit of dead ground between them. The space you've got at the moment is pretty much what coaches would expect you to leave, but the ball dying a little bit faster. A fair amount the left field behind you. Woodling's having to decide on his own personal depth for each batter. Goes not on one. Billy Pierce gets a called strike one as we get our third pitcher-pitcher matchup. Fun thing. Early Wynn went out on the ground out 4-3 and Pierce went out on the ground out 4-3, so been the same so far. Equal low, 1-1 on the count there. And just playing with his knuckleball actually. Although little dances around, ends up going inside and low. Jinxing around in here, not a huge amount of movement. You'd expect to see a little bit more. Below, fouled. Wynn puts himself ahead in the count, 1-2. With Carrasquel out there at first base, no outs as yet for the White Sox, no score as yet either. So we're here in the top of the fifth. We get a 2-2 with a knuckleball dancing a tiny bit, but staying outside on the letters. 2-2. Bunt lays down, Hegan picks it up, and Vila's covering the first base bag and kicks that as their run out and first on Pierce, but does move Carrasquel out up to second base there. That's going to go down as the sack bunt for the first out of the inning, but runner into scoring position. This time it's Chico Carrasquel, and he's got back to the top of the order, Jim Busby, and he got 1 for 2 games so far. Strikeout in the first, single in the third. Takes ball one. One home run, 9 RBIs on the card. This game, as I said, 1 for 2 in this game as he watches for ball 2. Just taking it back with the tested swing of that. Nellie Fox is on deck. Must be Fox and Minoso. Just a threatening part of the top of the lineup card there. But when he's been around a bit, shall we say. A little bit of pressure from the rookies in the pen who like to take over. 2-0. Lofted up high. Goes out left field. Woodling though has been playing this one shallow and is there to take that one there. So it's going to be 2 away. Reliable contact. Woodling feeling he can leave a little bit more of a gap behind him in the left field and step in a little bit closer. So reminds Chico Carrascal, second base. He doesn't want to run too far, too fast as he's waiting for him. Nellie Fox in now. 1 for 2 games so far. Single on the first and caught by catcher Jim Hagan in foul territory. It's ball 1. Wynn's just losing a little bit of the zone here. At the same time, he is trying to bring this knuckleball into play, but not getting as much movement as he's had before. And ball 2 dances low to the outside. 2-0. Fouls that one there. 2-1. Into the stands between home base and the dugout. 2-1. Wynn shakes that one off. And 1 and out. The decision is to swing and a miss. Strike 2. Actually another knuckle that came down there. Wynn's wanting to try just a few more with this. Sort of get settled and let the conditions see what happens. Fox in clutch, 2 away, runner at second. No runs on the board. Here back here with 2 and 2. Lets that one go past for ball 3. All the lights are on. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 2 outs here at the top of the 5th. No runs on the board. Carrascal will take a lead on this one out of the second bag. The off comes down, and that's going to be hit up high. It's going right field. Al Smith's waving, he's got it. Al Smith takes that one in. Yep. Here we are. Anything Woodling can do, Smith says he can do better. 1 hit in the inning there. Chico Carrascal getting a single out to left field, but that was it. No runs off the 1 hit. 1 left on base and no errors charged to the defending Cleveland Indians as we're halfway through the game. And I write yet another no runs scored in the box in the top of the scorecard. Doby, Strickland and Hagan are going to be your 3 batters when we hit the bottom of the 5th. A couple more scores just coming through. End of the 5th, and we're halfway through the 6th inning there with the second of the double headers. Tigers still leading by 2, and Athletic still to find a run. Giants still on 1 run. Phillies have found 1 more, so it's Giants 1, Phillies 3. And then we've also carrying on similarly over in Brooklyn. Pirates on 1, Dodgers on 2 over there. So Billy Pierce is going to carry on pitching. No changes out there in the White Sox defense. Just may well be ending up with a bit of a slugging match here as we're going on between pitchers. Larry Doby 8 All-Star appearances, and including this year, 310 for the season. Watches ball 1. Brings himself ahead of the count. Left-hander has the power. And Jim Rivera finds his lane out. It's playing deep on right field. It's be coming over to cover a little bit of the gap. Get ball 2. 2-0. White Sox defense lining up. Expecting deep on this one. Though Fox is coming in to play a little bit shallow from second base. Fouled long down the first base line. Rivera out there running quietly. And a 2-1. Busby flew out. Jim Busby in the second. He's already pushed to the outfield once. Ball 3 is looking particularly hungry here. Shoulders pushed down, ready to swing. 3-1. Head high, it's long, and it's gone. Home run over the fences. Jim Rivera knew it was coming but could do nothing about it as that sails out high, 350 feet plus to get over the fence and high up in the bleachers there. And round the board, Larry Doby is going to open up the 5th with a home run and open up the scoring as well. And that takes Cleveland into a 1-run lead. It's not much, but it's the first of the game as we pass the hour mark. George Strickland steps in now. Flew out center field. The close out the second. Once more, he's facing no runners on. This time not because of the outs ahead of him, just the home run there that opened up the bottom of the 5th. And that's going to be a call, strike 1. Strickland having not needing much call out from over at shortstop. Ball's either headed out to the right of the field or over the head into that dead spot between himself and Woodling. That bat will be looking to do a little bit more and carry on what Doby has managed there as we get a nod and 2 and cold strike 2. Pierce looking comfortable on the mound. Not 2. Ground over to third base. George Kell picks it up straight away and Diamond to Dropo at first base. And Strickland, who's never in a month of Sundays going to have the speed to get that one there. Fast bounce single on the ground in front of George Kell at third. He stayed on the ball as it swept over the Diamond for a 5-3 out at first. One away, 1 run scored though. Bottom of the 5th, Jim Hegan steps in now. Slid into second for a double in the 3rd inning. And is called strike 1. Balls behind end the count, not in 1. Count is equaled up, 1-1. Egan has been doing a wonderful game as the catcher, sitting there behind the mound. At the same time, so does the White Sox. Les Moss. Eye is good though, 2-1. That home run aloft will be sitting in his mind, and it will be how fast can he get that out of his head. So that goes low into the inside. 3-1. Placing it to avoid deep swing. Yeah, I think it's not quite out of his head just yet. 3-1. Line. Goes out to centre field, high. Busby takes a few steps to the side and clears the berm, and is going to take that one out of the air for the second out. As that flies out deep, but 400 feet out to the fence there is just a little bit too far for Hegan's swing to get there. 2 away, bottom of the 5th. Cleveland up by 1. Altobelli is stepping in now. Early win is on deck, so pitcher is going to be staying in for a little bit longer. Altobelli fouls his first up. 0-1. Popped up and caught in foul territory by catcher Les Moss in the 3rd. A rookie with a short swing here. Doesn't swing there. Gets the 1-1 call. Here sends that one low. What a break on that one. Dives down to find the ground after about 60 feet away from the pitcher's glove. 2-1. Another one dives to the ground. Pierce is just keeping things low, not wanting to risk another loft. Altobelli watches that one slide away, but away from the zone, so it's going to be a 3-1 on Altobelli. Pierce just shaking the head. Shaking the head again. I'm going to take them much to knock your head off the spar. And I wonder if Doby's home run has had that impact. 3-1. Goes for ball 4. Second walk of the night. And Altobelli takes himself up to first. And Moss is going to bounce up and talk to his pitcher. Reset the mental game if he can. It's going to be pitcher as well. It's not going to be an easy as it sounds. Early win, 233 for the batting average this year. 15-year veteran of the game, only making his 2nd All-Star appearance this year. As Moss bounces back in, sets the mask on, and we'll just see where Pierce's head is as we go through. Swing and a miss on a fast ball with the heat. Gets that one, lays down, and that, for all the best intentions of Wayne, you're not going to throw that one fast and hard to the top of the order, but if it's 9th, then you let a little bit of aggression out on that one. 0-1. Oh, fouled off, and it's another fast ball heading downwind, struggling to push that one to the side. Pierce was pretty much a flamethrower and a scanner in his early years in the league. Oh, one, and again the pace is coming in. I wonder if Moss has just went up and said, look, stop trying to be fancy. We know you can place the ball, but you're just not getting the placings over this last inning. You've had it before. Settle yourself down. 1-2. 2-2. Count goes equal high. Wynn leaves the bat on the shoulder on that one there, as we get just a little bit of a drop going to the outside. 2-2. Equal high count. Fouled off there. Wynn having to push that one again with the heat coming down from Pierce. Moss has just said, let go for a little bit, and Just get a feel of the ball again. 2-2. Let's do it once more. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 with the heat coming down there. And yeah, Pierce turns the burners on at the end of the inning and gets himself his third strikeout of the evening on opposing pitcher. Early win, not before the damage was done. 1 run coming off 1 hit, the home run of Larry Doby that started it all off. No errors charged to the White Sox defence, and they did leave 1 out on base as well. Joe Altobelli's walk to first, and nothing else developing from that. So played through 5, and it is the Cleveland Indians who've got off the board first. Taking them some time to get there though. And it will be back to 3-4-5 and also Cal and Rivera when we head to top of the 6th. Call the police because Callum's Crackers will steal your hunger. With poppy seeds, sesame seeds and fortified with 6 different vitamins, you can't get through a day without reaching for a little luxury in your lunchbox. Callum's Crackers, the criminal crackers that steal your hunger. Back in stock at Finer Fare, 57 Main Street. Anyone also is going to lead off the 6th here as the White Sox find themselves down by 1 here in Municipal Stadium on the shores of Lake Erie. Early win, as we expected. After his batting appearance, he's going to stay in pitching. Jim Hagan's still catching as well. Pierce having a little bit of a mental wobble there, and Minosa fouls off his first for 0-1. See if Wynn, a slightly older head, it has to be said, can keep his head going. Both of these players, similar sort of stats at the moment. 2.2 ERA for Pierce and 2.22 for a Wynn, so you might as well say they're both about equal. 1-1, called strike 2. 0-2 on Wynn also. It's 1 for 2 games, singled in the 3rd, but before that, the line drive out to Al Smith in right field. 0-2 comes in, and that's going to fly up and high, but there's no depth on that at all. Al Rosen can take 1 step, 2 step, and into the glove. A little bit of a Dr. Zeus play there. 1 step, 2 step, out. Well, it's the first out. See how long it takes for the other 2. We'll be hoping that happens as quickly as possible. George Cal comes in, professional head. Watches ball 1. When doing 1 knuckleball up to the iron inside. Cal batting right-handed, coming in from the left-hand side of the box. Fouls that one. 1-1. I'm sure both managers will have said, look, drive the pitch count up as much as you can. Al Lopez for the White Sox and Marty Marion for the Indians. 1-1 on Cal. Fouls that one there to go 1-2. Strike out and fly out so far on tonight's batting card. And 2. Lines out to left field, and it's another one bouncing there between Strickland and Wooding as Cal eases up and stands up, hitting first base there, not going for the extra distance. And again, we're just seeing that little patch of ground. It'd be about 25 feet back from the 2nd to 3rd base line, and it is just killing the ball's travel dead. Cal with a single, it's going to be, looks over at scorer, it is going to be a left field single. Just, yeah. And George Cal is up at first as the base runner, so 1 away, 1 runner on, 1 run deficit for the White Sox here at the top of the 6th as Rivera, fan favourite, steps in now. We're back in Chicago, there would be a lot of cheers, but surprisingly here in Cleveland, not as much love here. They're ready to swing. Walking a pop fly so far, and that's going to go up high as well. Strickland is going to take that a few steps for the shortstop. He gets underneath that one and takes it comfortably. Looks over to Avila, who's got his foot ready to go for second. Looks over to Altobelli at first. We're going to keep Kel where he's standing, aren't we? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Pop it up there to shortstop there for Jim Rivera for the second out. 2 away, 1 runner still on first as catcher Lesmos comes in. 1 RBI for the season. Then of course April, May played up in Baltimore, June down here in Cleveland. Yes, up and down, check your latitudes. And it's going to be a called strike 1. So he looks round and Joe Paparella taking a bit of time behind home plate there. Going to go on a 0-1 there. 1-1. Well, it's just working to get himself comfortably into the White Sox lineup, and he's certainly done that. Chatty and good rapport in the clubhouse. And 1-1. Foul off for 1-2. Runner at first, George Kell. A single that went out to left field, otherwise Barely Wins managed to induce the pop-ups and the fly balls. Fair amount over this game. Big fun in the fourth where all 3 outs were on the pop. Goes high and inside for a equal high count. 2 away. 1 on at first. Moss lifts that one up high. Larry Doby is moving absolutely nowhere. He's keeping his feet planted. 1 foot to the side. There we go. Little bit of a basket catch there. Glove just about shoulder height rather than high into the sky. I am pretty sure that Marty Marion is going to have a word with him, going, make sure the catch, don't showboat, you'll slip on a banana. But that is the inning, coming off a fly out to centre field, a pop out to short and a pop out to third. 1 hit in all of that, but no runs off the 1 hit, and 1 left on base for the White Sox. No errors charged to the Indians. So 5 hits on the board, but no production for the White Sox, and that 1 run deficit for them remains, with the Indians coming into the bottom of the 6th, looking to build on that with the top of the order. Woodling, Avila and Smith up next. Let's check round 2. 1 more score to come in from 5 innings. It's going to be Milwaukee 1, Cincinnati 7. Distance between the teams there, moving out from 2 runs in the 3rd to 6 runs there in the 5th. Did we do the Boston-Baltimore score last time? I'm going to mark it off. Anyway, it's Boston still to get a run. Baltimore have managed to find 3. Orioles going up there. As we said earlier, most of these teams are playing in a 4-game series here, and they're just 1.5 games between them. White Sox are now 6.5 behind the Yankees following their afternoon victory when they welcomed Washington. Cleveland are 8 back, while the Yankees were only 1.5 back on the White Sox, and with this 4-game series each is going to be worth 2 games in between the battle. And whoever comes out on top here is likely going to be seen as the main challengers to the Yankees for the pennant for the back half of the season. Woodling steps in now. Billy Pierce still on the mound, and he's got the top of the order. And, you know, he's had a good top of the order campaign for the day so far. Woodling It's ready to see the first pitch coming off a walk. And a ground out after that. And that's third base. George Kell picks that one up over the diamond once more. Droppo catches it in time. And it's 1 up and 1 away as Woodling watches that grounder go across the corners before he can make it up to the bag. 1 away. Bobby Avila comes in now. Ground out and struck out looking. There's a Singh there off the top of the order. Pierce has got a walk, 2 strikeouts and 3 groundouts. So he's getting through that difficult patch quite nicely. Al Rose in the 4th place is ground out as well. So Avila takes a ball 1. Pierce is getting Pierce is actually a bit weaker through the centre. Larry Doby's home run to open up the 5th inning. The only difference between the teams so far, 2-0. Vela heading to the All-Star break. We've got a fair amount of All-Star call-ups, it has to be said, in tonight's game. 2-0 goes foul. Right-hander pulls that one, drills it down, but maybe about 20 feet the wrong side of the line. 2-1. Lines left field, heads up, runs for first. It's going to be picked up, caught by Minoso, fast over a throw pole from shallow left field. That's not going to be in time though. Drop will make sure of the catch, but going to put that bag 120 feet away, and Avila still would have made it in time with all the pace there. So, Indians get a runner on first. 1 run up here in the bottom of the 6th as they welcome the Chicago White Sox. Al Smith into the mount now. It's 1 away, so we are going to get Al Rosen coming out as well. Pierce has already navigated this little 1-2 of Smith and Rosen. He's going to need to do it again with Avila on at first. Shakes off 1 more pitch from Moss. And run away. Line drive goes out. That's going to be another base hit. Rolls through center fast towards Busby. Has to sprint in to get that one. He gets it. Everybody's comfortably up 90 feet on that one. Smith gets a single over to first. Avila takes himself first up to second. To be close enough that he's not going to risk any more. 2 hits in a row there. Pierce, who struggled to find himself in the middle of the 5th. Now just throwing a little bit of signs of danger here. And I just wonder if we are going to have White Sox manager Al Lopez send anybody up there to get the arm going. Al Rosen now likes the opposite from the right-hander. To say a good oppo hit here will... That's not it. That's going to go foul down left line. Runners at first and second. 1 away. Not 1. Goes ball 1, so count is equal low. This picks up the MVP in 1953. And he ends looking, of course, to show that last year was not a flash in the pan with 111 wins and taking the pennant. And a lot of talk that he wouldn't be able to replicate that. Equal low goes foul. Up and over that time. The 1 and 2. Did take the American League with a 721, but New York Giants come in and swept them in the World Series. 1 and 2. And that's lofted, but it's going to stay shallow. Nelly Fox says they've got it at second base, and there we are. There's the second away and a fly out to the inside. I'll go with the pop on that one, I think. Hung more than enough time for Nelly Fox to get a fair catch underneath that one. So it's 2 away, runners at first and second. Indians up by 1 from the bat of Larry Doby. And home run in the 5th is the only difference, and it's Doby stepping in now. I think that Doby is one that shattered Pierce's confidence, so gonna throw the pieces aside or help build the mental jigsaw back up. Fouls the first one off. Not on 1. Pierce is himself ahead in the count. Veteran glove of Les Moss just giving a little bit more framing than we've seen previously. And ball 1 for curveball. Dives fast to the ground. Equal low. Another one heads low. 2-1. Here's keeping these all low. For Doby, just a bit of the mental mind games here. As that slides to the outside. 3-1. 2 away. Runners at first and second. Indians up by 1. Looking to extend that here near bottom of the 6th. 3-1. Rolls to the ground. Drove off the dive for that one. Picks it up. Pearson over to cover the bag from the mound and does so. Side retired for the 6th inning there as Doby manages to get a bit of pace on that one. Dropo dives away from the first bag to get the stop. And Billy Pierce down from the mound. Everybody who's going to be watching the Little League is going, that's the movement that you want on a play like that. Self down as the pitcher to cover the gap. 3-1, so side retired on that one. 2 hits for the Indians, but those 2 hits all left on base. No runs scored, no errors charged to the White Sox defense either. They've got that one started out nicely. He played through 6 and it's just the 1 run in it for Cleveland. Call the police because Callum's Crackers will steal your hunger. With poppy seeds, sesame seeds and fortified with 6 different vitamins, you can't get through a day without reaching for a little luxury in your lunchbox. Callum's Crackers, the criminal crackers that steal your hunger. Back in stock at Finer Fare, 57 Main Street. Bottom of the order for the White Sox, it's going to be their 7-8-9 Walt Dropo, Chico Carrascal and Billy Pierce. And it is Pierce. He's in the hole, so it is going to carry on with a little bit of a pitching back and forward. The White Sox needing to find a few more runs, 1 to tie. So everybody gets to the tying run so far whenever they turn the place or better. Dropo's in first. Fouls its first one off there. And ends that one into the inside. Just pushing them all inside for the first handful win. Trying to not have them crowd the play. Forcing them to push back again. Not one. Over to Rosen, picked up over the diamond. Joel to Belly, third to first in time. And there's 1 away for the White Sox. Chico Carrascal, who opened up the 5th with a single for being bunted up further to second, but no more than that. Now comes in with 1 out, no runners on the board. And watches strike 1 go past him. Win now, 3rd time through the order. It's number 8 in the lineup card for the Sox. Swing and a miss, not in 2. Carrascal will be looking to work the count as well, managed to get full, push the pitch count up previously. Not in 2. Line down left field once more. Strickland was already a few steps back, so he's going to get that one up off the ground, but there's no option really in terms of timing or even balance to try and snap that one over to first. Instead, it was a throw to Bobby Avila just to cover second. Cascala gets his single. Takes it for a 2-for-3 game. As we go back to our 5th pitcher time. So Pierce is the receiver's ground out, sack bunted so far. See Wynn just playing hard on this one. That's fouled off for 0-1. Trying to see just how much work Pierce can do here. Not one. Ball one. Count does equal low. Going there with the knuckleball dancing around there. He still wants to get that going, but the movement is just not there tonight. Sometimes everything lines up. They can go weird. Sometimes nothing goes weird, and everything just lines up. And 2-1 as Pierce watches that one. Just curved down a little bit. He's going to finally to get this knuckleball going. 2-1. Gaskell goes for the steal, heads up the long throw there. He's going to be in time. Hagen snaps up hard. And I feel in position there to put the tag on, even though the slide was attempted. Ball came down 2-1, so it's going to go 3-1 there, but it is the second out on a caught steal. Egan snapping up there almost instantly. Avila reading the play as well. And it was a long way away to attempt the dive and try and get under the ball. And it was not going to happen. 3-1. Pierce still in the batter's box. Fouls that one away. And with that, all the lights are on. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. White Sox down 0.1 here in the 7th. And that's going to go out. Grounder down. Joel Tabelli can pick that one up at first and put his foot on the bag. And he can just about turn there, military speed, and head back to the dugout. We up 3 down, retired in order. 1 hit in there, but no runs coming off that, and none left on base either with a caught steal. With that, we'll take a little breather and go for a stretch. We now pause for station identification. You're listening to Classic Baseball Radio, and you can support our recreations with a small pledge at ko-fi.com/classicbaseballradio. And don't forget to like, love, share and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify or wherever you follow your podcasts. Bottom of the 7th, and the Indians have Strickland, Hagen and Altabelli ready to build on the 1-run lead that they have over the Chicago White Sox. 1.5 games behind the White Sox in the American, so a lot of psychological advantage if they can take this one in the first game of the series. Billy Pierce still on the mound. They're keeping a 5-4 record. Pitching now to keep that lead as low as possible. No more than 1 run would be preferred. And it's going to be a ball one to start up against Strickland. 28 for the season. Strickland will take his time and push this at bat out as much as possible. Bottom of the order here is as much as increasing the pitch count. 1-0, 2-0. One of the orders about increasing the pitch count, turning out that arm. Top of the order, and it'll be the 4th time around if Pierce stays there. Chance to catch up. Foul off, 2-1. Strickland is a fly out and a ground out so far. 2-1 is going to foul off for 2-2. Strickland just bouncing the bat on the shoulder a little bit here before settling into still. Runs on the season, equal high. Goals, ball 3. This just slides a little bit in and away from the zone. It's 3-2, full count. Out, foul or action, take your pick. Now comes down. Swing and a miss for strike 3 in the 4th strikeout for Billy Pierce in the game. So opening batter goes straight back to the dugout, 1 away for the Indians with a 1-run lead here in the 7th. Jim Hegan, catcher, steps in now and takes ball 1. The curveball there going out and low in the zone. Just trying to lay a little bit of temptation on there. Foul! Nope, it's going to be called the ball. Check swing on that one and slips under the bat. 2-0. Here's in the wind. Fouled off down the right field line on that one there. Even going a little bit of a early swing on that one. Late swing, late swing. Sits there, left, right, left. I can see it out the window. 2-1. That's going to go up high. It's going out left field. Minosa is taking a gentle jog on that one, but he's going to be underneath that one and takes that away for the 2nd out. A little underarm throw into the crowd as well. So visiting left fielder with he knows the game and just passes that over to young kid who's all wrapped up. Don't know how he's feeling the cold. I mean, I suppose we're getting a little bit of wind coming off the lake now as well. Yeah, fly ball out to left field there, Willie Minosa. Stopping Jim Hegan going anywhere into the game. 2 up, 2 down. To Altobelli stepping in now. Called strike 1. 0-1 for the rookie. Bit of a shallow pitch here. Going to be 0-1. Straight back to the pitcher. Pierce hits that out, bouncing around his feet. Can't see where the ball's gone. Takes that, and he's over to first, but it's not going to be in time there. Altobelli already past Dropo as Dropo gets that there. Altobelli snapping that one with a short swing back towards Pace, who manages to glove it down to the ground and bounces around the feet out of sight. Just enough time and confusion for Altobelli to make himself up to first base there. Credited single. Fair Pierce did well to react to that one and stop it going past. Let the pace to go a lot further. And with that, we are back to pitch time. This time, it's Wynn on the receiving end and Pierce on the delivering end. Ball 1. Little look back there from umpire Paparella. Outside and low, out of the zone. When there takes that one foul. and one. Counts equal low at the bottom of the order. There's a ground out and a strikeout on the card, which is the 1-1. Center field hit, that's going long, and it's going to be a base hit there for a win, and it's going to be Altobelli up to second base. Stands up to go in there. Doesn't go any further there, but he'll take getting into scoring position. Just the second of the of the Indians to get onto scoring position against the White Sox. I mean, I suppose Larry Doby did it as well, but it was off a home run, so he'd kind of already scored. Runners at first and second. Altobelli at second, win up first as we go to the top of the order. Gene Woodling, 2 outs, 2 ons. Card so far is a walk, a ground out, and a ground out. Pierce will fancy his chances to get out of the jam here. Called strike one. Not on one. Woodling, over from Baltimore, the start of June. Lets that one go past. Count goes equal low. 1-1. Woodling, those World Series experience led to a very disciplined player. One of those who just wants to get on base and share with runners first and second. That will do very nicely. White Sox looking to get 1-run deficit cut. Ball 2. Slides that one away. 2-1 goes 3-1. Get a little bit of a... So what do you want to do? Do you want to do a wobbly slide or a well-placed knuckle on that one? 3-1. Indians looking to build on that 1-run lead. Smart hit there, picked up shortstop. Chico Cascala does his underhand throw, and Nelly Fox is going to be the force out at second on win, and with that side retired. I think we'll get a fielder's choice, but I won't go any further than that with the side retired. No difference. 2 left on base coming off 2 hits, but no runs and no errors charged to the White Sox either. So the deficit remains at 1. As we look to the top of the 8th and the top of the order for the Sox as well. Busby, Fox and Minoso are in there looking to switch the scores and claim the first game in this 4-game July 4th series. Call the police because Callum's Crackers will steal your hunger. With poppy seeds, sesame seeds and fortified with 6 different vitamins, you can't get through a day without reaching for a little luxury in your lunchbox. Callum's Crackers, the criminal crackers that steal your hunger. Back in stock at Finer Fare, 57 Main Street. So to the top of the order, top of the 8th, 6 outs left for the White Sox. And they're 1 run down, 1 good swing from anybody. And the game is going to get tied up. Busby's in first. Nice fairy card here, strikeout, single and fly out. Wynn's looking aggressive at this one. Busby, old head on the shoulders, looking to make the contact, and it's line drive straight in the glove of Al Rosen at third. And 1 swing could get the game tied up, but 1 swing could be the first out as well. Straight away, line out. Rosen at third base. The speed trudges back, 5 outs left. Nelly Fox in now, singled in the first, but a pop out and fly out after that. Early Wynn getting a read on the bat. Otherwise, Fox is 335 for the season with 5 home runs. High leverage coming in now. Fouls his first one away, not on 1. Certainly he's keeping his coaching skills on the field, have kept the White Sox close. defense can't actually win the game for you. You've got to do something with the bats, and well, the bats have got going. 6 hits so far, not on one. That's flown up. It's going to stay inside the diamond. Bobby Avila, George Strickland. Avila's going to signal that he's got it. The second baseman takes that there. Strickland pats him on the shoulders. Strickland giving the Avila catching that on the run forward. So 2 up, 2 down. 4 outs left now for the White Sox. Manny Minosa, closest you want to have to a team captain. Energy is going to be needed here. 1 for 3 so far. Line out, single, pop up here. It's a 2 up, 2 down. The White Sox down by 1. And gets ahead of the count, ball 1. 6-time All-Star, but he's going to get a little break this year. Not high enough up the balance. Ball 2. It's a 2-0 count. Is the tying run. Saw Busby and Fox, and he couldn't find out where they were looking. Fouls that one there. 2-1. It's got distance on it as well, going down third base. We've got the range in it, and that sort of dead spot in the grass that we're getting now between Strickland and Wooding. 2-1. 3-1. One there, back to the curve and slide combination on these last few batters. Trying to get the knuckle coming in, but it's not been there, so it's just... See Jim Hagan just leaning back going, look, no, go back to what you're really, really confident on. 3-1. Watches that one, 3-2. So all the lights are on. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs for the White Sox, and they're down by 1 here in the top of the 8th. Full count payoff. Strike 3. Minosa left standing and looking, that one there. As that one gets thrown past at pace, and the side is returned in the 8th. There's a bang, bang, bang. 3 up, 3 down. Another strikeout there for early win. So now we got some final game scores coming in from the league. 2 off now we've got so far. Pirates 3 managed to overhaul the Brooklyn Dodgers, so it's a final score of 2, so 3-2. Pittsburgh have that one, and that's going to drop the lead of the Dodgers at the top of the National. And over at Baltimore, Boston have piled the runs on there, so it's a final 4 runs to Boston, 3 to Baltimore. Orioles still going to be anchored at the bottom of the table, and with the double loss in the header, it looks like Boston's going to overhaul Detroit to take 4th space in the American. 2nd up for grabs here. Cleveland currently on the hook with that, with a 1-run lead over the White Sox. Bottom of the 8th, and it's going to be 2, 3, 4 in the order. Avila, Smith and Rosen. Avila first with a ground out, strikeout and a single. And lets that one go past. Starts off with ball 1. Just the 1-run lead, so can't sit back on that one from the Indians. Although these 1-run games for the White Sox, the last 3 against Detroit, have all been 1-run games, as we see ball 2. The White Sox have lost all 3 of them. In fact, the White Sox are on a losing streak of 5 games before that winning streak of 5. So it's 5 and 5 for them on their record coming into this game. It's called strike 1. 2-1. Pierce sitting on the curveballs in this one. He'll throw the slider at some point to try and get the out. Cleveland also 5 for 5, although it's actually a lost win. Bit of a scanner shot there. And strike 2. Called on Avila to take us to equal high. 2-2. Ball 3. One does slide on, but not a lot of break on it. See if Pierce decides to go for inside on those ones once more. Payoff comes in, and that's high. It's going to go fly out to Minosa in left field. Minosa's, yeah, waves at that one, got this one, jogs in to get underneath it, keeps the jog going on. And just a little practice throw around the house is up to Busby Rivera. Not had a lot to do out in centre right field in this game. I've been covering Minosa's way. So that's one away. The White Sox defence doing what it needs to do. Al Smith steps in now. Also on a 1 for 3 so far. Started off with the ground out, and the strikeout, and the single. If you think, doesn't that sound like Avila's? It's pretty much the same pattern as well. Fouls the first one off, 0-1. Smith, as he usually likes to bridge over to the sluggers that are coming up behind him. On base here, will give opportunities for Rosen, who's on deck, and Doby, who's in the hole. It's going to be called strike 2. Smith is waiting for the moment. I feel Pierce had a bit of a mental fail in the 5th and 6th innings, shaking himself out of that one now. Fast sharp curve there, goes 1 and 2 for the ball. There's Moss, veteran, just steadying Pierce, which he's been doing all season. They've got a good rapport between them, the kid and the veteran. There's another curve. Attempting on the outside, and Smith just shaking it off. And he hits first All-Star game in 11 days' time. Count is equal high. Lines out to the right field there. Jim Rivera's going to have to dive on that one in the ground and try and stand himself up and decide where to throw. He's just a little pause. It's a throw cut out or straight to second. Smith sprints into second in the moment of indecision from Rivera. And the Indians, 1 run up, have a double to put Smith into scoring position, and that is going to bring Moss out to speak to Pierce, catcher and pitcher, just wanting to do a little bit of a meeting. I don't see anybody warming up, so Pierce is going to be here for a little bit longer. Smith, given his following slugger something to work with, getting himself up to second. Al Rosen in now, it's ground out, fly out, hop out. And a watch on ball 1. 1-0. Rosen's always been a tough out to get straight from the pitch. It's going to have to be something worked in the field unless Pierce can get back into the game. And foul. 1-1. Rosen pops that one out and over the dugout. Good pace on that as well, and a bounce on the roof into the crowd here at Municipal Park, with the official attendance in as well in a second. 1-1. Fouled off once more. 1-2. Official attendance for today, 18,913. Mentioned we can hold 70,000 here, so it does look a little bit sparser than it actually is. Over on here, Larry Doby is on deck. One away so far, runner at second, one run up for the Indians here in the bottom of the eighth. 1 and 2, called strike 3, and there's a look back there from Rosen, and he's not happy with that at all. That's 2 away. 5th strikeout for Pierce in the game. Comes in that one there with a little bit more pace on it. Curveballs combining just to change the eye line, so it's 2 away. Runner at second. And Larry Doby, home run in the 5th. Fly out and a ground out either side of that. And it's very wide. It's going to be an intentional walk here, I think. They're sending him up to first. 2 away, load up first and second. Here's ball 2. And ball 3. And ball 4. So it's 2 on, first and second. Pierce now going to be looking to the defense, and to be fair, they've been he can get past the 4 hits. Defense has been pretty solid when the ball has been put into play. So it's George Strickland now, fly out, ground out and strike out. Any of those 3 will make the team happy. Hold strike 1. There's a curveball that does reach the bottom. Strickland perhaps thinking there was going to be a bit more of a break on that one there. Bottom of the 8th, there's a not one fouled off. Went long. So the distance is there, but it's just off the foul line. Then off the pole, so it's going to be a 0 and 2. Strickland, team makes it first and second. 1 run up, looking to build a little bit more of a cushion. Ball 1. It's a bit of a slide goes on there. Here's looking to attempt to swing, try and get the second strikeout on Strickland in the game. 1 and 2. Grounders to Carrascal, who's going to be 2 steps, doesn't even take it to the bag, and Fox is there for it. And that's going to be the force out at second. Carrascal picks that grounder up, and he's really close to the bag, as it were, but just it's a gentle toss to Fox, who's already on the run in and doesn't need to change momentum. So, side retired on that one there in the bottom of the 8th. No runs coming off that single hit from Al Smith, which doubled him around second. He's left on base, and Doby walked up to second, and then the force out, walked up to first, and then the force out at second. Come on, catch up. And there we are, played through 8. Visitors still to score. That's the White Sox. Home team, 1 run up. That's the Indians, so it's into the 9th, and there's 3 outs left for the White Sox to find 1 run to tie. Earlywed is going to come into the mound and pitch into the 9th innings. And it's been a 3 up, 3 down for the last 2 innings as well. Although it did need a caught steal for Carrascal in the 7th to make sure of that. But it's a Cal, Rivera and Moss. Cal is a single, Rivera's at a walk. And the rest of that, 7 outs out of the 9 facings of the 2. It's George Calvert's going to start off and see ball 1. Only near professional. He's been in situations like this before. It's going to be a 1-0. When he shakes that one off. And the last one was a curve. Is he going to risk the knuckle again? 1-0. Lofted high into the right field. Al Smith gives the indication, just walks underneath that one, keeps walking, 1 away. So Cal flies out to Smith once more. 2 outs left. Jungle Jim Rivera is going to be in here. Swing mechanic, as I said, has been a little bit off. That's going to be called strike one. Not on one on Rivera. He's taking a walk and two pop-ups as well. Wynn's been able to get that out to the outfield quite nicely. Not on one. That's going to be ball one. So count's going to go equal low. Jim Rivera, 243 for the season. No runners on here in the top of the ninth. White Sox down by one. 2 outs left to find that one. 1-1 comes in. And that's going to be lofted high. It's going to go long. It's not going to be there. Doby stepping back 1 or 2. He's got the glove in the air. There's your second out. Deep to centre field. And then whoever decided to make Municipal as deep as it is, that would have been a home run in any of the jewel boxes. But here at Riverside, they put the depth in the field there, and Rivera doing his best to go for the fence to tie up the game. But it's not enough, so it's just a 1 out left on the White Sox. Lesmos came over from Baltimore in June, 385 for the season, but he's not a huge amount of time. Catcher's only had 15 plate appearances. Fouls that one off there for 0-1. Wynn steps back on the mound, keeps his focus there, pulls the cap down a little bit further down his eyes. Jimmy Hegan gives him the sign. Sign's been given and accepted. 0-1. Moss swings on that one. It's going to go foul down the third baseline. 0-2. Moss is just taking a step back out of the mound there. Wynn gets the crowd on his feet, but he's keeping the focus on his catcher. It's a 0-2 count. Moss steps back in. It's the 0-2. It's swung on it. It's going to go foul. We're going to stay at 0-2. Wynn wants that one back again. If he could, just needed to drop that curve just a little bit more. So we're still at 0-2. Moss trying to keep the focus. There's just a little bit of a shake of the head from Moss, not from Wynn. He's confident with the call that he's got. 0-2. Slider and strike 3. That's your final out. That's your final inning, and that's your game. And that there with a little wave from Wynn to the crowd. Dominating there from the mound. 9 innings pitched, 6 hits, no runs, 1 walk and 4 strikeouts as he steps back into the dugout. Takes himself to an 11-2 record for the season. Closing out on a strikeout there on Lesmos, who swung into that slider that just kept sliding away and away. Tough battle of the pitchers here. Billy Pierce, final line there, 8 innings pitched, 7 hits, still 1 run, 1 walk and 5 strikeouts, but that single run, the home run for Larry Doby opening up the 5th, was enough for the teams to get the difference. So it's going to take Cleveland 43-30. And White Sox down to 42-28. That's going to put Cleveland in second place in the American League. Yankees winning today as well, so they stay top. Losing streak of the White Sox moves out to 6. Cleveland are going back with their yo-yos now. Win-loss, win-loss, win-loss for their last 6. We'll do it all again tomorrow. See if the pattern continues or if the White Sox can stop the run and get themselves back into contention for that second place in the American League. I'm Ian Spence. Thanks very much for listening. Us here on Classic Baseball Radio, thank you for joining us, and you can support our recreations with a small pledge at ko-fi.com/Classic Baseball Radio. And don't forget to like, love, share and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify or wherever you follow your podcasts. It's the Real Summer Show coming up next. Your RSS, as always, decides what you're going to listen to as we head up towards midnight and the holiday weekend. Wherever you're going, whoever you're doing it with, a wonderful 4th of July. If you don't tune back in, and if you do tune back in, well, there's going to be more excitement tomorrow as well. But for now, it's over to Adam Curry to find out what's next in the RSS.
Billy Pearce entered this game in the middle of a historic season. He finished 1955 with a 1.97 ERA, making him the only qualifying pitcher between 1947 and 1962 to post a mark lower than 2.00. The record would be taken by the LA Dodgers' Sandy Koufax. Indians pitcher Early Wynn would join the White Sox in 1958, leading them to the pennant in 1959. He would retire with exactly 300 career wins, becoming the 14th pitcher in history to reach that milestone. The White Sox Minnie Minoso was the first black Latino star in Major League history. By the end of his career, he would become a legend for his longevity, becoming only the second player to appear in the major leagues in 5 different decades. Heading into the All-Star break on July 12th, the American League was a rare 4-way race. The Yankees, Indians, White Sox and Red Sox were all within a few games of each other, making this mid-July series feel like a post-season preview. The Yankees would eventually prevail by 3 games over the Indians and 5 games over the White Sox. This broadcast should not be considered a complete or fully accurate historical record. Nevertheless, that was our story of the game. We thank Crafting the Call, Retro Sheet and Sports Reference. This is Classic Baseball Radio on Spotify, YouTube and online at classicbaseballradio.com.